Welcome to episode 5 of GearGeek.com, the interview series. My name is Matt. I'm joined by my co-host Zach. Zach, how you doing today?
Doing good. You got some playoff hockey going on, lots of new gear in the wild coming out. It's just
Right?
the best time of year for hockey fans.
Yeah, oh yeah. Especially that first round of the playoffs. I mean, what's not to love? Three games on every night. Got, one starting at 7, another one in between at like 8 or 9, and then you got a nightcap later. This is just the great time of the year for sure.
A 2 week long Christmas vacation, essentially.
Yeah,
Like, let's
very,
go.
very, very well put, sir. So we've obviously got a guest today here on episode 5. It's going to be Alex Gurley from the Division 1 Stonehill College Skyhawks. I'm excited to get into to get into and chat with um and have the viewers get a listen on our discussion with him. It was nice to get into a college one. Obviously, we had Luke a few months ago from the Des Moines Buccaneers. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to some of that, the more equipment coming out. What do you think? Like the Cole Caulfield was in the Vapor Flylights the other day. Obviously Tim Stutzla's wearing them, and Carter Verhaeghe too in Florida. There's been some stuff with Bauer skates lately. Remember last year when Charlie McAvoy was the only one using the shadows, and then he was the only one using the shadows, and then he switched out of them. So what do you think is going to be the case here with these new vapors coming along?
I don't know. I feel like vapors are relatively like you can't miss. I feel
Yeah, yes.
like
Yep,
yeah, I mean
absolutely.
I feel like I've been in vapors my whole life, and the only time I've ever had issues with skates is when I try to branch out and try something different. I feel like vapor is your standard, your okay. Your P29 or your P28, P92 curve in skate form. Like you can't go wrong with it. I just think it's really interesting with Bauer going with the Flylight name. I mean, we talk about that a lot with Alex because obviously they're a Bauer school, but yeah, it was just kind of I remember when you first sent me the note that Bauer's coming out with the Flylight line again, and I was like, time travel here or something? Because I mean, everybody knows before what was 2020 was the Flylight line for the sticks. So it's gonna be interesting just to see how it moves on with skates and more likely gloves and all that too.
Yeah, and I mean we touched on that later, or what everybody's going to see later on with Alex here, but I just like I feel like you've got to do something, and we're probably still like a few weeks or like even a few months away from like the official like coming soon, and so maybe there is something in the works, but I just feel like you got to do something with the name, and you can't just leave it at Flylight. But then again, looking back on it, like you remember um in like 20 for ahead of the 2015-16 season, there was the Nexus 1N, and then they just kept it as the Nexus 1N that following season, and it just became known as stick-wise at least, it just became known as Nexus 1N 2015, Nexus 1N 2016. At least that's how I remember it. If somebody's watching this and you remember it a different way, drop us a comment below and let us know how you remember it. So maybe they'll get away with it that way, but at the same time, it's like, geez, what a gap in years. It's the original Flylight was 2019, and now it's coming back in 2025. So yeah, I mean, but in the end, like if they make it look good, and if it performs well, at least from the retail side, I don't think people are going to be too up in arms about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to get my hands on a Flylight stick just to kind of see the difference. I mean, I used the Flylight when it first came out, and then so now seeing the difference is going to be really unique, and it's like is it going to be an improvement on the Hyperlight or the Agent line kind of stuff like what are they going to incorporate the agent with the hyperlight stuff, and like it's like just it's cool. It's very cool to see, especially now you have the comparison like that. I just it's always for me, it's just always interesting to how these brands go with their naming. Like, CCM's got it, just jet speed, FT and a number, tax and a number, trigger and a number. Like it's always funny to me when they try to reinvent the wheel and just come up with new names, or and they end up going back to an old name. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean, I respect the hell out of them though, because and I've seen this in like our comments quite a bit. Like, one guy actually made me laugh like a couple months ago. Like he was mocking like the term Twitch, and even sometimes like when we're posting about it, it's like if like a casual hockey fan comes across this and he has no idea like about equipment or whatnot, and he's like Twitch, like what is he talking about, like a Twitch? So yeah, I mean, personally, I couldn't imagine coming up with names for these. So the people who are in charge of it, from the Bauer side, the CCM side, the Warrior side, whatever. Hats off to you guys, because I can't imagine it's an easy thing to come up with some of these names. But going back to the Flylight, I got a question for you, and
yeah,
I'll kind of throw it back to me. So we've obviously got a few pairs of the skates, albeit they're just dressed or whatever, but the framework of the Flylight skates are already in the league and being worn by a couple guys who are currently in the playoffs right now. Um, Not that I've seen yet. We haven't seen the Flylight stick in the NHL playoffs. Do you envision we will before, say, the Stanley Cup final, or maybe we see it in the Stanley Cup final? What are you thinking? And I'll let you know what I'm thinking there.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you almost have to imagine that they're going to, especially if like typically, because I mean, I believe Bauer typically releases their new gear July 1st, June 1st,
Yeah.
and with I mean lining up with the playoffs, Stanley Cup final, and all that kind of stuff. Like you'd think they were gonna want to put the next big thing on the national stage with most eyes on it. I mean, I just for me personally, I think that would make the most sense. But I don't know what were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking we see it by the conference final. Uh and I remember like in years past I've I've been I've made like predictions like, oh, no way, like we don't see this like before the playoffs ends, and then the playoff ends and we didn't see it. So the other factor is like it depends on who's still around, right? Like
Right,
obviously if I'm trying to think like if like if it's Colorado in the conference final, like there's probably not going to be a guy on the Avs doing it. But then again, like um, you think it's going to be in the hands of like a big name guy like a Kucherov or whatever along those lines. And then then again, like the first, how many times have we seen like the very our first like spotting of a new stick is like a Stefan Nason. No disrespect,
right.
but
Yeah,
it's like it's a guy like that. So I guess in the end, like if they want to make it happen, they can. There's a good chance that they can make it happen. Of course, like there could be a number of obstacles that they run into. Like depending on who's available, it could be a guy's like, nope, I don't want that graphic. I don't want that stick. I don't want that anything. Get it away from me. I'm set. Because I remember like. We thought like at some point last year we might see Matthew Kachuk with the Code Encrypt Pro, but that was never the case. Like he was whatever the reason was, he was set firm on staying with the original. So you just never know. But I'd have to think like there's gonna be more hype around it, and like the Vapor Flylight rises, whatever you want to call it. So I'm thinking we see it by the conference final.
watch it be a Nathan McKinnon. just surprising
Oh, oh
everybody and
man.
busted out.
Yeah, oh that'd be something, but well, I mean, like they like just when you thought he was putting CCM in the rearview mirror, he was the one who debuted that the FT8 like before the jet speed and even the FT part was visible. So he's keeping all of his options open, and he even had a run with the LX3 a couple months ago. So yeah, we'll see. I guess you can never count out Nate Dogg for being the one to be the first one to at least be showing off a new graphic per se.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a bit of an intro there. Without further ado, let's get into our guest for this episode. Take it away for the rest here with Alex Gurley. And now we are very pleased to bring on our next guest here for GearGeek.com, the interview series. We are shifting back into the equipment managers. We've got our first college equipment manager. The Stonehill College Skyhawks have been Division One since the 2022-2023 season, and we are so pleased to be joined by Alex Gurley, the head equipment manager of the Skyhawks. Alex, how you doing?
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing
Doing
great.
well. Doing well. Very, very happy to be joined by you. We've had some discussions, and obviously we had a nice collab post with you a little while ago with some of the stuff that your guys are using, some of the stuff that your guys are doing, and we had Luke Hunter on as from the Des Moines Buccaneers of the USHL a couple of months ago. So it's nice to get into the college ranks here with equipment managers and see what some of your day to days and how it might differ. We expect it does. From the college side of it as opposed to the USHL. So super excited to have you on here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just start off right at the beginning for you. Like where are you originally from? Like what sparked your interest in hockey and hockey in general, equipment, and becoming an equipment manager?
Yeah, I'm from Fall River, Massachusetts, so about like 30 minutes from Stonehill, give or take. Not a bad drive. But I graduated high school in 2023. I didn't really know what equipment was. I played hockey growing up until like sophomore year of high school. But once I graduated high school, I just wanted to work with hockey. Why not? Then I just Googled, like jobs with sports or hockey. Then like equipment manager popped up. Like at the time, I didn't know anything about what I didn't know what equipment manager was at the time. I had no clue about it. So I looked into it, I'm like, oh, it seemed cool. You work with the guys one on one for the most part. It seemed pretty neat. Then I reached out to a couple schools. I had no experience, so it was kind of tough. Reached out to a couple schools that summer. Then Salvo Regina, they got back to me. So for my first year, I was down there with them, and that's pretty much how it just started. Just a Google search.
Well, that's that. So you're even younger than we anticipated you being. So to just kind of dive right into it and take your shot and go after it that way. Kudos to you, I suppose. But and wow, to be as young as you are and already a head equipment manager in Division One, that's pretty good. Good on you.
Yeah, I mean, turning 21 later this year, so have a lot of room to grow still, but it's been fun.
Right. So we were gonna follow it up with I guess taking it through your career path and whatnot, but you pretty much answered it right there and the teams you've been with. But one thing else to just kind of like branch off of that a little bit. Um, what would you say was like a notable experience in, these last like 2 or 3 years or so that led you to where you were? Like you can get as granular as you want, but like what like really set you up to be where you are right now already as a Division One hockey equipment manager?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, it's D3 and D1's two different levels, but I just put the work in at Division 3 for that year, right? I mean, it's we don't have the same stuff as we do here at Division 1, but I made it work at D3, right? And I got noticed for that, and I got fortunate to be up here at Division 1 now for those seeing those little details and that extra hard work that no one really cares about or sees, and it paid off. So now I'm lucky enough to be up here at Division 1.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and then like so you're short, so it's such a short time period to go from, one to the other. Was there anybody you kind of like leaned on to like, really like get you, show you the ropes, get you going, that you still go to for advice when you're just kind of like trying to figure this job out?
When I was at Salve, I mean, like I was just getting into equipment, so I didn't really know anybody in the equipment world, right? I didn't know the equipment world was a thing like this, how it is now, right? But I just went with it. Luckily, I'm a fast learner, right? So I picked up on the sharpenings within the first month. Those all that stuff just got picked up along the way. Then like maybe towards like December, January of that Salva year, I started, seeing the equipment side of Twitter and Instagram, stuff like that, and seeing other equipment managers posting what they do in the locker room, stuff like that. So then I just take ideas what they do for, away setups and just do that for my setups now. Same thing for the home locker rooms. But I mean, obviously now there's a whole bunch of guys I can reach out to at the Division 1 level if I need help with something, I have a question there. I can call them, ask them, and they'll be more than, willing to help me out with whatever I need, which is pretty awesome.
That's good, yeah. And I mean, not to be thinking too far down the road. I mean, you're essentially still honing your craft a little bit, but having said that, like I just said before, it just seems like such a great spot to be in at how young you are. But and I know I've had people. Like I've known people who have been equipment managers at even the D1 level, but they kind of did it more so like as a hobby or like something to springboard into something else, whatever it may be. For you, would you say you have like NHL aspirations, professional aspirations? Like I guess, and maybe to like a lesser extent, like how much do you enjoy what you do so far?
Yeah, I mean, NHL, I mean, it would be a dream, right? But again, it's like here at Division 1, with college, it's a lot different than National League rules, right? So here I can do what I want here. Like yesterday, we just finalized our new jerseys for the upcoming year, right? At national level, you really can't do that every year. You know what I
Right.
mean, though? So I have freedom at this level that I won't at the NHL level. Does that make sense like that?
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but yeah, that makes
Yeah.
that makes complete sense. Yeah.
So I like having that freedom that I have here, which is nice. Obviously, I mean, if the time comes down the road, there's always a time and place for that stuff. But I think now, I mean, I like the college level. Like I said, it's only 64 teams, right? Everyone's closer to each other for the Division 1 equipment managers here. But yeah, I have the freedom to do what I want here too at the same time. If I want to change up something on the helmets, I don't have to get league approval. I can just do it myself during the summer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I have that freedom that I like.
Totally. Yeah, that's like a minor, like I said, a minor detail that like we might overlook at first, but that's like I guess a perk for you guys at the D1 level. But I'm assuming, being a Mass kid, you did you grow up a Bruins fan or
Yeah, for the most part, obviously when I was younger, I watched a lot of, NHL hockey, but now it's like when I started getting into high school, like shift away from the pro hockey, more into the college hockey scene now.
yeah.
I mean, I keep up with the NHL, but it's mostly just, my life's around college hockey now, so it's kind of tough now.
Gotcha. Oh, because I was just gonna say, like, if the Bruins called you tomorrow and said, "Hey, we got an opening for an assistant or something," like,
Yeah.
would it be tempting, or would you tell them,
Yeah.
maybe give me a call in a few years or
Yeah, it's
something?
definitely tempting. I mean, it's like you can't NCAA to NHL, that's a giant jump, right? I
Right,
mean,
right.
people work their whole life for that jump. And, if I were to get a phone call today, I mean, getting that jump at 20, I mean, it's like it'll make it 10 times harder to say, no to it, right? But
Right.
again, the bigger picture, it's like I have the freedom, I have the control here that I will not get. I won't get that control even if I have the head roll at the Bruins. I just won't have that control because of the league.
Yeah.
That's just the difference that, I've noticed, and I like the difference that we have here.
Yeah. So kind of like talking about like, the National League, like, these massive like units for the equipment, you got the assistants and all that kind of stuff. Like, what does your team look like at Stonehill? Is it just you? Do you got a couple guys under you? How does that look for you at the D1 level?
Home and away games is just me. So I mean, it's a lot of work at times, but I mean, I don't mind it being just me at the same time because everything's done the way I like it too. So it's like I don't mind coming a few hours earlier than I normally would. But yeah, I'm doing everything set up the way I like it to be. I don't have to supervise, an assistant doing it something that he likes the way it's done. So it's a lot of work, especially on the road, but I don't mind the work because I mean I'm happy with the end result.
Yeah. Have they given you like the freedom, like if you did want to bring on like an intern, like an unpaid assistant, like to give you some help, that you could do that, or have you not even had that discussion, or did you pretty much answer it right there with saying like you know how to do it, like you like to do it the way you like to do it, so you've pretty much already made up your mind?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit last year towards like November-ish, start of the season. But it's just tough. Like I don't want to teach somebody from the start.
Yeah.
I don't want to supervise like this. It's tough at this level to start out at because these guys are elite skaters, right? You can't screw something up for them. You don't have wiggle room at this level compared to other levels, I'd say. But it's just tough. Like I wouldn't mind the help some days. On those days, they're like, okay, well, I don't mind doing this at all. It's just it's a weird in between.
Gotcha.
Sounds,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a little bit shifting away, just for a little bit shifting away from the equipment side here, but just in general, like, because I feel like a lot of people who might be watching this have probably never even heard of Stonehill College, because you guys are still a relatively new Division One program. You're independent right now. This season, it wasn't exactly the best record for the team, but you know that like I said, you guys are still a new program and whatnot. So, what are your thoughts on the future of the program, like the direction it's going, and just from what you've seen and what you're able to share, being on the inside of this relatively new program.
Yeah, I mean, 12 wins this year didn't seem like a lot to the rest of college hockey, but previous to that year, we had one win, right? One in like
Okay,
the third
all right.
season,
So you did
right?
make progress. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
12 wins
stand
to
corrected. Yeah.
yeah, 12 wins to everybody else in college hockey is like, okay, that's it. But to us, I mean, that's 12 Division One wins that we didn't have the previous year, right? So I mean, that's obviously
Awesome.
unbelievable for everybody. But I mean, we're in talks of a new rink. We're getting money for that, and hopefully, you know, 4 to 5 years we'll have our own facility, right? So that will make everything easier for everybody, recruits coming in and stuff like that. But I mean, we're on the right path. We're ahead early, right? So it's, we're the only thing we're really missing right now is just our own facility, right?
Yeah.
Once we get that, I feel like we would be competing more easily with, the top teams in the country.
Yeah, I think I saw it. How far is the rink from the campus? It's a considerable distance, right?
20 minutes?
Okay, so that still is pretty that still is a pretty considerable distance from
Yeah.
where most of the guys are living. And I'm assuming that pretty much all of them are living up like on the
Yeah.
campus or near campus, because I remember you see it a lot more on the Division 3 side. I remember like the people I've talked to, like where the rink is like a half hour, 20 minutes away
Yeah.
from where most of these guys are living, and potential recruits are like, I'd rather go to this place where they have the rink, where I can walk to the rink from my dorm and I can, go on the ice whenever I want and hang out at the rink, be with the guys, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, well, I mean, hopefully, that goes as quickly as possible, and you guys have a rink on campus and, with like an amazing facility. And you watch what that does. And like you guys are in the greater Boston area too. So it's it's it becomes more appealing to
100%.
guys from like a from an academics like why from an academic side they can get an internship in downtown Boston or something like that. So yeah, we're rooting for you guys and hopefully that goes as quickly as possible because that's going to be a game changer if it does eventually go through.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think everybody's wanting that, right? I mean, some kids here won't experience that, but I
Yeah.
mean, coaching staff, I mean, we just can't wait for it. That'll be the final piece of the puzzle, you know,
And how far, I think you may have said this earlier, but how far away from the rink do you currently live?
about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay, so you got that's a decent drive still. Yeah.
Bad.
So, yeah.
So moving on, like, so you guys moving up to D1 this year, you're talking, or a couple of years ago, and you're talking about how you're more of a college hockey fan than, the pro and all that kind of stuff. So it had to be kind of a cool moment to realize that you get to go to some of these like awesome arenas, and historic arenas. Like, did you have a favorite that you visited the past few years?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the first game of the year we had, it was definitely like a wow moment, right? You're all watching these arenas on TV, then all of a sudden, I'm on the bench for these games now, which is kind of like a surreal moment. But there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of arenas, right? I mean, we played at Northeastern. I think this was the final year, right? There, Matthews is up, I'm pretty sure. So that was cool to be there for the final year and play against that team. Then obviously, no, Maine, right? I mean, that's the final year too before they renovate that rink. So I mean, obviously, just the history at Maine. That's just an unreal environment. And you have 7,000 kids on a Friday night watching people play hockey, right? Like you just can't beat that at all. But it's just tough. I mean, there's so many factors too. I mean, Maine Northeastern's up there, obviously. I mean, it's cool going to Duluth too. Just middle Minnesota playing some hockey. I mean, you can't beat that at all. So I mean, there's just so many.
So none of them really was like when you walked into, you were just like, wow, like on
Definitely Maine. Definitely Maine.
Maine. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Because
right.
it was cool. I mean, you're there at 7 a.m., right? And so the place is empty. I'm walking around the place. I'm just walking around the whole place at 7 a.m., right? No one's there. So I'm like, just check out this place. Then you see it, once 3 p.m. goes, you see the place starting to get filled up. By the time puck drops, the place has 7,000 kids, right? So I think it's pretty cool to see the progress of the rink just filling up over time. But I mean, you just can't beat Maine though, too. It's just an unreal place.
And
That's
their
awesome.
their upper deck, like, and I know it's a specific way on the ends, but for you guys on the bench, like, were those guys in the upper deck, like legit on top of
Yeah,
you?
it felt like it for the most
Yeah.
part. It was
Okay. Wow.
pretty
Yeah.
crazy experience, but it was so cool though. I mean, you can't beat that at all.
Yeah.
Do you
Totally.
do you walk around these like these just historic stadiums and you're just slowly making your like your wish list for when you guys get your own venue out there?
Yeah, so when we play teams for 2 games out of way, like we went to Maine, we were there for 2 games, so we were there for 4 days. So I mean, like when I get there, I asked them for like, can I have a tour around the locker room and stuff like that, just to see like what the teams work with, just get ideas for locker rooms and the equipment room setups for like the rinks like that. So I mean, I've seen some pretty good rooms and pretty good equipment rooms throughout this past year. It's always nice, just to see, what other people work with too, to get an idea. It's just you see all the time on TV the rink, but you never see the behind the scenes for most of this stuff. So I think it's cool to see that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, more experience is always a good thing, and you'd be surprised at what you learn from, these other guys around. So that's another thing that can sometimes go overlooked. Absolutely. Um, you touched on it a minute ago there. You mentioned UMD, University of Minnesota Duluth, the Bulldogs there. You guys were on the road for I think it was I think you played a doubleheader that
Yeah.
weekend, correct? Yeah. So obviously that's a considerable distance there from Easton, Massachusetts. This is something when we had Luke Hunter from the Des Moines Buccaneers and the USHL on, this was something that he wasn't really able to shed light on because obviously there's no plane travel in the USHL. First of all, I'm assuming you guys took a plane to
Yeah.
those games, right? Okay, yeah. All right. So yeah, and then on top of that, I mean, if we'd love to hear the outline of, packing up, like what day of the week for assuming the first game was on Friday, what day of the week you guys left, when you got to the rink, just take us through the whole schedule itinerary, what it was like transferring all the gear out to UMD there, and give us an idea of what it's like at the D1 level.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what day we left, but okay, if the game's Friday night, think we left early Thursday morning. So I mean, if it's say 8 a.m. flight if or earlier, I mean I'm at this. I mean we practice Wednesday night 5. Then I mean then the next day we travel out. So I mean I'm at the rink at 2 a.m. just packing everything up right to make sure I have everything. Then the guys arrive at the rink say like 5 o'clock to head to Logan. Then once we get to Logan, I mean an hour, 2 hour flight. Then once we get to the airport, we load up. We head to Duluth at around 5, 3, 4 o'clock. We have a skate at 5 just to get loose. Then the next day, Friday, it's just another day, another game day. Have a morning skate. Then you're just scrambling to get everything done again. But I mean, then Saturday night when the game ends, it's just just make sure you have everything packed. You don't forget anything. Really, that's the biggest thing.
So backing up, Wednesday night, you guys are practicing. You said you're practicing at 5 o'clock. I'm assuming it ends at like 6. What's it, like an
Yeah.
hour skate? So, and obviously, the guys just practice. Their equipment probably stinks and it's got to air out. So I'm assuming you air it all out. You got the fans going. By the when you get back at 2 a.m. to pack everything up the next morning. Is it aired out or do you kind of have to just pack it up and it was like, all right, well, this is what we have to work with. So, trying to get a little bit more granular there,
Yeah.
uh, is the equipment dry, I guess is the ultimate
Yeah,
question.
I mean, I run 4 fans in here, so the equipment, everything is dried out for the most part. The laundry loops get washed immediately afterwards, though, so that's all set. Then the main focus when I come here for the morning is just packing, practice jerseys, game jerseys, socks, extras of everything. 'Cause, I mean, when you're on the road like that, I mean, you can't just, walk down to your room and grab an extra helmet or something like that. So you just gotta make sure equipment wise that I have, 2 or 3 of everything for any guy that if something happens, I mean, you have it ready to go for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you may have mentioned it, but did you guys charter to UMD or
No, it's commercial out of
was it
Boston.
commercial? Okay. Yeah. All right. And so, but like UMD is not like so. I'm assuming did you fly into Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Okay, and then and then from there it had to be uh uh a pretty considerable bus ride up
I
to
think it was crazy long, honestly, if I remember. I think it was like an hour at most. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it was like
okay.
anything
Yeah.
like crazy done before though.
Okay, yeah, maybe I must have my Minnesota geography off there. I was because I know St. Cloud is way up there, but I think UMD might be closer to the Twin Cities than originally expected. But yeah, anyway, still that's still a lot of transporting and a lot of taking the bags off of one spot and loading them up on another. And then obviously, when you guys are at the rink, like what can you say about the rink staff and like the UMD's equipment staff? Like are you like in terms of them being accommodating? I'm assuming they are, but like if there's any insight you got there, we'd like to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, Chris at UMD, I mean, he's great to me. Always when he got on there, it's first time down there for us. So, I mean, he was amazing to me. If I needed something, he helped me out with stuff down there. So that's always, appreciated, right? I mean, the rink staff, everyone's great. I mean, they know you're around, right? I mean, he told me how to get to the rink in the morning, how to get into the building, before everybody. So it's stuff like that. It's always nice to have that. It's obviously it's not expected, but it's always nice when that comes around. But I mean, usually for any away games, I mean, everyone's usually more than willing to help, right? I mean, it's just a common thing. I feel like at this point, right? If someone comes to you and they need something, all right, here you go, it's fine, right? So then when you go back to them, they'll do the same thing for you, sort of say, right? So it's like everyone has you back at this level, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, totally. And were there any hiccups like travel wise at all, or all pretty much smooth sailing? And not just on that trip. I mean, like, were there any hiccups on any of the road trips you guys had this past season?
We had 6 flights this year. Nothing, nothing that got lost or broken during the 6 flights this year, which is always a good thing. Bus
Yeah.
travel, I think everything went smooth for bus travel too. Nothing got forgotten, nothing got broken, anything like that, which is always good. I mean, I think we were 100% for all the travel games this year.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule. You guys probably flew to Lindenwood,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I noticed. Well, it's too bad Alaska Anchorage came to you guys this season. I mean, maybe if you guys get them on the schedule where you have to go up there, we'll have to bring you back on
Yeah,
for another like surprise episode. So we're definitely gonna have to hear about traveling all the way up there.
we're playing Anchorage this December. So
Oh, okay. There you go.
yeah, we're going up
Yeah.
there this December. So we're playing them December 5th and 6th, and that's the only 2 games we have all of December. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, mark it in your calendar now. Sometime mid-December, we're gonna get you back on because we want to hear about how that goes. Has anybody given you any like? Have you talked to their equipment staff at all, like about what it's like? Like I don't if you guys are flying commercial out of Boston again, I don't know if like Boston has direct flights to Anchorage. Maybe they do, but. Man, that's got to be something I'd imagine you're more excited about than having any nerves for it.
Yeah, I mean, like the main thing is just hopefully everything just gets there, right? That's just the main
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right? I mean, you have 75, 80 bags under the plane, right? You just hope everything makes it there on time at least, right? That's just the main concern throughout these flights, right? But I mean, yeah, I reach out to these guys. I mean, they know the schedule too when they see it in June, right? So like they know. I mean, we reach out. I reach out about a month before the game to these guys. Just if it's if I don't know them first time playing, I reach out a month just to say introduce myself. I mean, if we're playing Long Island again, I know them down there, so I'll just text them, a couple days out, tell them what time we're arriving and stuff like that. So it's not too bad, but.
yeah. You guys don't take the train anywhere, do you? Like, I was gonna say, because I know some NHL teams sometimes hop on Amtrak or something. I was wondering if maybe you guys did that for Long Island, but I didn't think that was the case, but wanted to be sure. Yeah.
Real quick before I don't know, Matt, if you want to move on, but just kind of talking about like the your road games and all that kind of stuff and being like you're a one man crew. Could you let us our listeners and viewers kind of know like what your day like length is? Because I think people don't really like connect with how long you are actually at the rink and all the stuff it takes, especially on the road. Because I think a lot of people just assume, oh, you just show up to the rink and everything's ready to go. But it's like your days you've got to be insanely long, especially on travel days when you got to head back home, right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends where we're going, right? I mean, if it's a place we've been to, I already know the setup of the locker room. So I already have an idea, all right, where I want to put stuff, things like that. But if it's a place we've never been to, that's when it gets kind of, like, all right, well, how do I want to set up the room? How do I want it to look? That's where it gets kind of tricky. But like if we've been to, then there's hiccups everywhere too. That's like the thing too. So like we go to Long Island, they tell us we have to go in locker room two when we arrive there at 6 p.m. So then I have to have 30 bags in one locker room. Then the next morning and Friday on the game day, I get told I have to put my all my bags in 5 and 6, right? So it's like so I have to pack up 30 bags at 7 a.m., then move it to locker rooms 5 and 6 and unpack them all. Then set up locker room 2 for the morning skate guys. So it's just like just depends where you go. Obviously, other teams that have their own arena is much smoother. We arrive at 5 p.m. The guys get their gear out, then I go the next morning, make everything look nice and pretty. Do what I need to get ready for the day and stuff like that. But it's just different everywhere you go.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, getting into some more like granular things and more focused on actual equipment. So obviously, you guys are a Bauer school. So how would you describe your relationship with, the Bauer reps and take us through like the ordering process a little bit. We've had an idea from some people that we've spoken to in the past, but we assume it's different wherever you go. So, and also like, when do you get to see the new and upcoming gear for the next season?
Yeah, I mean Bauer's great. The rep Ryan Badger, I mean he's unbelievable. I can call him and he, picks up the call and answers my question if I need something. So he's really good with that stuff. I mean, working with Bauer is unbelievable. I mean, you grew up using Bauer, right? Now I'm working with the company, right? I mean, that's just unbelievable to me. But it's ordering it's not bad, it's just during the summertime, like now this past month, I just, the guys who are returning, just double check with them the sizing, make sure, they want the sizing for all their protective equipment. Is it if it's the same, if it's not, then we can change it, stuff like that. Then like the challenge part is the new kids coming in, the freshmen coming in, the new recruits, just making sure you grab their sizing and stuff like that for the protective equipment. Sticks are fairly easy. I mean, everyone knows what they want for a stick, right? Especially if you're not paying for it for the first time in your life, right? So they tend to go all out for the first freshman year. But like the tricky part is skates, everyone has to get their foot scanned when Bauer comes for us. So like the guys that are already here, it's easy because they can do it on site. It's just a little tricky for the guys, for the freshmen coming in that aren't here to do it. So they just have to go somewhere else, get their foot scanned, and then they just send it to me. But I mean, it's pretty simple. I just, the turnaround time is about a month and a half, 2 months for all the custom stuff we get. So it comes in pretty quick. But I mean, Bauer, they're unbelievable.
So when do you send or like when do you reach out to the incoming freshmen and say, "Hey guys, like I need your orders for what you want for this season."
Yeah, I mean, right when they commit, I'll just give them a text and say who I am and just ask them for, I send them a list of all their sizes for equipment, their gitch, their apparel, all that stuff. So just to get it locked away and put,
But like so you say when they commit, but some guys are committing like years ahead.
yeah.
It's not all the way back then, is it? Like
Oh,
it's
no.
yeah.
So if they're going into their freshman year, like now, I'll reach out
Yeah.
to them now. Stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
That,
so like you've already like the freshmen who are I get like at this point like there's not there aren't any freshmen who are going to be changing their mind at this point. So now like you've already reached out to them and say, "Hey, let me know what you want for when you get here in the fall or whenever and you're good to go there."
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
nothing's final yet. Nothing has been ordered. We usually wait. People still commit, throughout the summer and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no rush to order anything. I mean, the turnaround time at Bauer is pretty quick, right? So we don't. There's no rush to get in by May 1st, right? It'll come in June, and there's no point in that. No one's going to be here in June, right? So we have some wiggle room on when we can order it, and we have wiggle room on when the guys can commit to, right? So once they commit for this 25-26 season, I'll reach out to them, get their sizing as fast as I can, and just have that set away for them.
Awesome.
Are you guys able to order throughout the season, or is it like you got to order, what they think they're going to need, it's got to be in before the season starts?
Yeah, I mean, I can if I need something during the year, I can order it. We'll be most I don't have to order much for the year, maybe a second batch of sticks. That's about it. But all protective gear, I mean, we order extras of that. Something breaks, I mean, I can just fix it, stuff like that. But I mean, if someone does go through their batch of sticks, I mean, I can just send an email to Bauer and we'll get the sticks in before, in a month and a half. So it's pretty good.
How many sticks does each player get?
When we first order, we're ordering, I think, 18 for everybody for this next upcoming year.
18. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, they get three in the rack. If they break one, they'll get a new one the next day when they come in, stuff like that. But 18 you should last most of the year for the most part for guys. I mean, if they do break, if they're around that like six number around Christmas, I'll order them another six. So they have 12 for the rest of the year, give or take, like that. But I mean,
Okay.
18 should last pretty much everybody, including goalies.
You ever had anybody like you really just, dude, come on, what are you doing? Like, let's take it easy a little bit, or has it been pretty much 18?
I mean, it's definitely our defenseman Evan Orrs is on his last six right now, so he's not going to get
Wait,
any.
I missed that. What number is he on? Sorry.
Evan Orr, he's on his last three, so
Last three. Okay.
last
Yeah.
three, so he's not going to get any summer sticks. So, but I mean,
So
guys are pretty good
yeah,
about it, though, honestly. I mean, the sticks, it's going to break eventually, right? But do anything about it.
yeah. So obviously, like, it's the time of year now when some of the new stuff starts to appear, like the Vapor Flylight, the second coming of the Vapor Flylight stick, the Vapor Flylight skates. Have you seen those yet? And like when do you typically get to see them if you haven't already?
Yeah, I mean, we see it pretty early for the most part. I say I probably seen it January of this year was when I first
Oh,
saw
okay. Wow.
highlight stuff for the most part. I mean, I'm not really on top of it. I'm not really, we're in the middle of the season still, right? So I'm not really worried about all the new gear and stuff coming out. If I get it sent to me, if the Bauer reps shows me, I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. So you get an idea of what it looks like for the next upcoming season. But now, like this time, like, March, April is really when I started to look into it more. I got to see the full catalog for this upcoming year, all the Flightlight stuff coming out. So like this time now is when I can see everything, which is pretty nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Any initial
Um,
like any initial
yeah.
like, oh wow, they're going back to Flylight, or like maybe, oh, did they send me the an old catalog here or something? Because I mean, I saw the Flylights coming back. I was like, wasn't it a thing already? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. No, it's cool. The new graphic on it's pretty neat. I was thrown off for a second. I'm like, I got told they're getting rid of Hyperlight to rid of the Flylight. I'm like, why are we doing that? Everyone knows what the Hyperlight is. I don't think many people would know what the Flylight is. Everyone thinks the Flylight is new, but it's like it already came out before, right? So
Right.
it was kind of everyone thought they were coming out with the Hyperlight 3. That's what everyone was talking about, but it threw a lot of people off, especially here at least, that they're coming out with the Flylight. But I mean, it looks cool. I mean, like the skates look unreal. I think it looks nice. The sticks look pretty neat, and the goal pads look pretty awesome, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know if you've heard anything like, are they gonna add like any twist to it, like Flylight 2.0, or is it just gonna be assumed to be called the Flylight 2025? Or I don't know if you've heard anything extra.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I saw the skates in person, I think it's just going to be Flylight, honestly. On the tongue
Okay.
and
Oh
on,
yeah.
on the back, on the Achilles guard, it just says Flylight. So
Okay.
just,
Yeah,
just
that's fine with the skates because like the skates weren't a thing
yeah.
like back in 2019, but with the stick, I mean more so like I guess yeah, we're gonna just have to call it the Vapor Flylight 2025 or 2.0, whatever.
The graphics is definitely you can tell. I mean, if you put a 2020 Flylight and a 2025 Flight, I mean, you can tell the difference. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
the graphic for 2025 is unbelievable, I feel like. It looks amazing. But I'm excited to see it in purple. I think that'll be first.
Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what the followers really liked our collab post a while ago. I think the purple graphics played a part in that, just because like you don't see them too much. And I think I remember we were going back and forth on either I think it was on X, because like we saw like a couple different color schemes in the Nexus Tracer graphic, and then you guys were the first ones who we saw the Tracer graphic in purple with. So that was, yeah, purple's low key a good one for hockey stick graphics, I'd say.
You don't see it too often. That's the thing, right?
Right.
There's not many purple college hockey teams in Bauer. It's Holy Cross. I mean, other than that, I can't really think of another Bauer college school that uses these sticks. But I mean, it's just unbelievable. I think that the Nexus graphic, especially, I mean, when the light hits it a certain way, you just see it reflect and it looks,
Yeah, yeah,
the hyperlight graphic, it's nice, but I think it's just that tracer graphic. It just looks unbelievable.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Um,
Being so
oh,
being a
sorry.
Bauer, yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry. So being a Bauer school and all that, everybody knows kind of with the college hockey, there's like, some players do have exceptions where they can use something different. Do you guys have anybody like that? And if you do, like, what's the process? How's it different from getting that equipment for your guys versus, just going through Bauer?
For sticks, everyone's Bauer sticks, 100% for Bauer sticks. For skates, we have three exemptions with skates. So I have my starting goalie in Bauer skates, and I have a forward, I mean, I have my starting goalie in true skates, and I have a forward in true skates. So that's about it. I mean, for goal pads, I have my starting goalie in true pads, but I have my other two goalies in all Bauer gear, sort of say. So he's kind of I mean, I guess you could say the exemption player. He's mostly all in true. Right? He has a Bauer stick though, Bauer helmet. But same thing for that forward. I mean, he's just in true skates. So it's not nothing crazy here. I mean,
Super, yeah.
at the
But
school
that's
they have different. It depends on your contract, right? But I mean, we're like 95% Bauer school here. So I mean, those three kids make up that 5%, but
But that's okay, right? Like players are allowed to pick whatever skates they want. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I always understood it.
I mean, I know it definitely it depends who you're sponsored by, right? But here, um, you can ask about true skates, but I really want everybody in the Bauer skates because
Okay.
all the
Yeah.
steel I order is all Bauer steel, right? So I
Mm,
had this one defenseman last year. He came in with true skates on, but I don't have any extra steel for true skates because when we buy your skates, when we order your skates, we order sets of steel for that specific skate,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So every year when we order guys skates every year, right? So if your foot grew from freshman year to sophomore year, that steel won't fit your freshman year skate, right? So that's why I mean I have these guys, stick with Bauer, right? I mean, if you are the exempt, I'll buy that steel for your true skate. It's different. But I mean, if you just buy it on your own, which would be crazy, I don't have anything for that skate.
Right.
So it's a little different like that. But I mean, I people say you don't mess with players' feet, but I mean, like people don't really complain about power too much. I mean, especially when your foot gets scanned for the skate, right? So should you make them a few times, it should be perfect on you, right?
Yeah.
That's ideally how it should be. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I got told don't mess with someone's feet, but I mean, we have rules here, and everyone's in Bauer for the most part.
Yeah, I mean it's an easy one to fall back on considering the amount of, people even in the NHL who wear Bauer skates and whatnot. But that leads me to something else. I just want to see if maybe you have some insight in that you can share on. And not to put you on the spot a little bit, but like so take for example like Ryan Leonard at Boston College. And I don't mean this with any disrespect to your guys there at Stonehill. So like Ryan Leonard's obviously a pretty big name. He was a first round pick, Washington Capitals prospect, and like midway through the season, he's getting fed like um the CCM Vision stick. He started, with the Tax XF Pro or the JetSpeed FT7, whatever, and he's getting some of the unreleased sticks basically at like the same time that NHL players are. Like, is it possible that like Bauer might send, one of your guys or send to you like I'm just using this as like a loose example, but like the Vapor Flylight, like would it ever get to a point where, one of your guys might get one of those unreleased sticks at like an earlier time, or do you just need the hope that like you get like an NHL prospect at some point?
It's definitely, I mean, the bigger the name of the guy, the better chance he'll get that stuff, right? Like Ryan, he's a
Okay.
CCM athlete, right? So I mean, he has a deal with CCM. It's a lot
Right.
different. None of these guys have a deal with Bauer or another, or CCM, right? So it's a little bit
Right.
different with that. I mean, I don't know how many other schools, like I don't know if Holy Cross or like there's other Bauer schools, because they have a contract with Bauer. I don't know if they get that stuff early, right? I mean, like I don't want to mess with that stuff too early with these guys, right? Like, if you guys like the stick using, stick with it, right? Don't switch something because you want to be different, right? But none of these guys are signed with Bauer. Obviously, it's just the school signed with it. So I
Yeah.
mean, so it's a little bit different, at least here. At least, I mean, I could be wrong. Obviously, a Western Michigan, right? I mean, they could get the sticks wrapped over there, and who knows, right? I mean, I don't know how it worked at those other Bauer schools, but here, I mean, none of these guys are on contracts, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, okay. That's the kicker right there is that it was more of like CCM just like sending the new sticks directly to Ryan Leonard and not to Boston College. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I don't really think Bauer really like early release sticks to players like that. I've never really seen that too much. Like the Flylight stuff, you don't really see guys using that new stuff too early. But the Flylight's gonna release, I think July 1st. I got told, or June 1st. So I mean, I guess when it gets closer to that time, you'll see more of it. But I mean, CCM tends to give their athletes their sticks pretty early on. I've seen.
I would need to do some digging, but like part of I'm thinking I remember like and then this is the reason why like I asked, but um thinking back to like Chris Kreider's junior year at Boston College, back in 2012. That was around the time when like the Nexus 1000 was just beginning to be released. And I'm pretty sure he started using it while he was still at Boston College in the national championship that year. I may be mixing this up, and it maybe he didn't start using it until he signed with the Rangers, like a few weeks later. But yeah, I just feel like I've seen an example of that with Bauer, with some other guys, in previous years. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I need to do some more digging on it. But I thought I may have had seen that. But everything you said with the contracts and the agreements, like with the individual player, completely makes sense. So it's all good.
Yeah, it just depends on who the player is, right, at the end of the day. So it's a tough market.
Yeah. And obviously for the folks who are listening, watching to this, who didn't see our collab post with you, might be surprised to first of all, we urge you to go to our Instagram page and check it out because there's a lot of good notes and cool stuff that were provided by you. Thank you again for that. And among those, we had uh, Lettinen, Joel Lettinen, that's his first name, right? Yeah. He's using Patrick Kane specs. Lagerbach is using David Pastrnak specs. So what are the limits to what, these guys can get if there are any at all? And does that add anything to your process or how do you how does it work for you to get them those?
Like it's different at the schools, right? I mean, every school has a budget at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's different price points for sticks that we order, right? Like the protos cost more than the high plate and tracers we get, right? It's just everyone's contract's different too, but for our contract, the hard plate and tracers, they cost a set price, and then the protos and twitches they cost, another set point, right? So
Okay.
so we're kind of in the middle with sticks, right? We're in I guess the middle tier with sticks, right? So we pay, X amount for these sticks. I guess you can call them full custom sticks for the most part. Um, but then if you pay, for the higher tier sticks, you can completely customize um the curve you want. Like you can get your own specific curve if you want. If you want to pay whatever the contract says, you pay for the curve. Say it's like 180. You get if the player wants the lie tweaked, whatever it is, you can do that. I mean, most of the curves now, I mean, Bauer, they send me a form and I go one by one by player, what graphic, what flex, what curve, and stuff like that. So it's pretty easy in my end for the most part. Just the hard part is these kids making up their mind. I mean, there's so many options with, there's just so many curve options now, right? They see, they see Patrick Kane's curve and they, oh, I want to try it now, right? So it's just there's so many curve options now. It's kind of, the hard part is just having the kids pick out what they want.
Are they able to do, because you say you order 18 sticks, are they able to do like, I want to try the Patrick King, can I get three of those and then 15 of like what they're used to? Or does it have to be all 18 have to be the same curve?
Maybe I tell them, just be the same curve, right? 'Cause, if you don't like it, then what am I going to do with those six sticks, right? So I
Yeah.
tell them, I'm ordering 18 in this curve. I mean, you have to use all 18 to get another batch, right? I mean, we're not gonna order, six cane and six, P28, right? It's like, come on, like if you don't like the cane curve, what am I going to do with them in storage? It's not going to do anything
Right.
for any of us. You know what I mean? So I tell you guys, stick with the curve you like, right? I mean, like when Bauer comes, and that's when you guys can test out all the curves. They bring us curves and flexes. You can test them all out. Yeah, I know a 20-minute shooting session is not going to be different than just playing 20 minutes on ice. At least you have an idea of how it would feel. All right. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, just what you like and what you know you'll like for those 18 sticks.
Makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned you have a lot of guys who are just pretty standard, the P92s, the P28s, but tell us a little bit more about Brady Hunter and what he's using. And again, we had this in the collab, but if you want to share the story how that went down, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, when I first came here, I was he's definitely more of a skills guy, but I was like shocked that he uses a PM9. Like you don't see that at all, especially in college at this age, right? So I was really shocked to see a PM9 on the stick rack. But I mean, he loves it, right? He's more of a skills guy, right? So seeing a PM9 is kind of threw me off for a second, right? But I mean, he rips it though. He shoots the puck like it's a P28, right? You would never know it's a PM9. But I mean, it's different, but it's a good difference. He likes what he likes, right? He was going to switch to the P12, but he's like, the P12 and PM9s. I mean, there's no visual difference really at the end of the day. I mean, like the P12 is a little bit more of a throw curve. But other than that, I mean, he's stuck with the PM9 again. He has, let's say 15 curve options to pick from, and he picks a PM9, right? So he knows what he likes. Probably been using it for, 10 years, I'm assuming, and he likes it, you know?
Don't mess
Interesting.
with what works.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So going back to like the game day life and being on the bench and whatnot, what are some examples of times on the bench when you had to act quickly and like where like a player's next shift, an important player's next shift was reliant on you. And how stressful can some of these situations be? Because like there's a lot of people who just don't realize how important you guys are to the success of your team.
Yeah, I mean, during the game, it's not the stress levels aren't too high, right? I mean, like, I have two sticks for every guy on the bench, right? I mean, if stick breaks, I have it right away for them during the play, right? So I'm not worried about that. When the stress levels go up is when something breaks, right?
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, right? Changing blades out, that's fine. It's a normal thing, right? It's I do it feel you'll be back in the next shift. That's when something breaks when you don't expect it to break. Something with helmet, shoulder pad. Something when you don't expect to break, it breaks during the game. That's when it's like, oh fuck, right? It's like like that's it's not what you expect, and that's when you stress out a little bit, especially for away games, right? When you don't have access to your own room like you do at home here. You can just run to the back room and fix it real quick, or get him a new piece of equipment, stuff like that. But it's not like crazy high stress levels. It's different points of the game. When you're doing the sticks on the bench, it might be a little more stressful than usual. A power player, you don't want to, if a stick breaks for that guy taking the one timer, you just want to have it for him right away so he gets back into the play and stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's like obviously something when something happens with a goalie equipment wise, it's like you can't really plan that, right? Especially the goalie
Yeah.
equipment. It's like, you just gotta fingers crossed you can fix it, in 2 minutes. If not, I mean, it's fucking good luck, right? Until the period.
Yeah. Yeah. How about how about like from the players like themselves? Like we talked a little bit about some of the curves that the guys are using, but is there anything maybe outside of like the curves that they're using that have been like what you would consider a weird request? It's like where he says like, "Hey, like, can you do this for me?" And you're like, wait, what? Like, what is this? Like, does anybody get like need new laces every game or something like?
Yeah. No, it's not really a request. I mean, everyone's has their own thing, right? I mean, I'm the same way. I like the stuff a certain way, but I don't think I've gotten a request. I mean, like Yoel, he wanted yellow laces, and like you think you can kind of see it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, there we go. We can see
he's
it.
yellow laces, right? So like that was when he asked me if I can get yellow laces, I'm like that's funny, like haha, right? But he was being serious. I'm like, oh, I'm like okay. So then that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think everyone else is pretty. It's just they have their own routine, right? I mean, certain guys, they want their skate sharpened before the game, right? And stuff like that. It's just weird routine stuff. But I don't request wise. I mean, it's like I don't think it's anything too crazy out of the blue.
So no Duncan Keith on your team that's texting you at 2 o'clock in the morning to change your laces and his radius on his skates or anything like that, huh?
Definitely not. I think hopefully the guys know better not to do that to me too, because I'd be pretty grumpy in the morning.
Yeah. So, and I mean, when I know we're going on about an hour now, but just a few more to kind of wrap it up here. And you touched on this a little bit earlier about your game day routine, and everybody knows how long you guys are at the rink and whatnot. But like, so during the season, and in particularly, let's say like Thursday through Friday, I mean, like on a weekend, how long would you say you are away from the rink? And like I ask this because like I assume like you're only home or away from the rink for like 4 or 5 hours, like the entire weekend. Is that true? Was I close or?
Yeah, it's a Friday, Saturday, doubleheader home game, right? I mean, we'd skate Thursday at, 2 to 3 o'clock like usual. Then, Friday morning, if it's a 7 p.m. puck drop, I'll be at the rink for 7 a.m., right? So
Mhm.
then, if we have either a scratcher skate or a team morning skate at 10 o'clock, then I'll get the room ready for either or, stuff like that. Then once those guys leave, then the visiting team will have their skate from 11 to 12, right? So I gotta do my locker room, then the team arrives. I have to, talk with them and see if they need anything, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
then, once that team leaves, I mean, I just do laundry really, 1 to say like 2, 3 o'clock, come back to the rink. I mean, then my guys arrive around 4, then the game starts at 7. So they do the routines 4 to 7. Then post game's about like 9, 10 o'clock ish, right? I'm just waiting for laundry at that point, right? Getting everyone's jerseys and laundry in the bins to get it done. That's everyone's out of here and started by 11, 11:30, depending on the game. Then it's just waiting for the visiting team's laundry as well to get that done. I mean, then some nights, I mean, I'll probably get it done around, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. right? And that morning is Saturday morning. That's another game day already, right? So I mean, you go home, 3 a.m. You sleep for a couple hours, and you're back at the ring at 7 a.m. again. You know,
Wow.
same
Yeah.
routine again. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of times, but
Yeah.
A little
That's
intense.
the grind. Yeah. I mean, and if you've got a half hour drive both ways, then adds to it as well. So you really are only sleeping for, you say, a couple hours, and it's 2 or 3 hours, and you're back up and on your way back to the rink. Wow.
tough. But it's you get through it. It's not bad. It's just want to get it done and want that week that that one day off, right? That's what you're looking for. When the weekend you have the day off, basically. So it's good though. It's rewarding though too, right? You do these 35 hours in these days, these 2 days, but like then you win both days and it feels great. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
you sleep for 4 hours in total, but I mean, dude, we just won. We just swept the weekend, so it's an unbelievable feeling.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
Yeah.
I guess for me, the last question I got for you is just kind of like, in your short time, being an equipment manager like that, do you have any like, stories that that kind of stand out to you that you're just kind of like, ah, this is why I love doing this, or something like that?
Um, the guys love it here. I mean, just little detail stuff. The guys throughout the day they start to pick up on and stuff like that. I mostly do it for myself, right? And like if the guys don't like it, I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing it the way I like it. But I mean, it's like cool story wise. We went to Lake Superior, right? I mean, this is like it's like a couple of games into the year, right? My first year at Division One, and we went to Lake Superior and Alex at Lake Superior, right? We were just talking, about equipment to each other, stuff like that. We're both Bauer schools, and I think it was cool. He asked me how I did something with my helmets, right? I mean, well, Alex, I mean, he's done equipment at the at AHL, NHL level, right? So this guy, I mean, he's done equipment like longer than I have, right? He's asking some 19-year-old kid do some hide some of the helmet, right? So I think that was pretty eye-opening, right? I'm like, oh, I mean, that's pretty cool. This veteran's asking me how to do some of my helmets, right? So that was definitely a cool experience from this year. But these guys, I mean, they all notice it, right? So they all appreciate it. But I think it's all fun all around.
That is cool. Yeah. Get a nice um uh like salute or hat tip by a guy who's much older than you and who's been in the business for a while. So yeah, definitely that's a pretty good moment, I'd say. Um and I guess just lastly, you had mentioned that you guys have a skate later today, and obviously the season's been done for a few weeks. So if you can just quickly like wrap up, like what does the summer look like in terms of how often you've got to get the rooms ready and sharpen skates? Like I know a lot of teams have guys come back like in June or July for a few weeks to do probably some more like off ice workouts, but I'm sure they're getting on the ice at some point. So what is your off season now? What's the schedule for your off season the rest of the way until September?
Yes, this past month we just been putting a lot of orders in, getting that stuff out the way. We just ordered practice jerseys now. All the equipment stuff's pretty much done right now. At the end of the month, whenever it's time for these kids to go home who are going home, give them their bag, extra blades and stuff like that for the summer. Give them the summer sticks too, so they can have for the summer if they're going back home. But I think some guys are staying back here for the summer. So I mean, if they want to skate, they just text me if they need something. I mean, I'm down the street. I'm 30 minutes away, so it's not far if they need something from me. But it's pretty laid back for the most part until July comes around, everything just starts back up again. Right? It's just a rinse and repeat cycle.
Oh, so it like the like season schedule essentially begins in July.
Yeah, well, like for staff wise, at least it does. Just like
Yeah,
behind
okay.
the scenes, logistical stuff starts up. I think guys come back around August that time. Like they're
Mhm.
on campus, in the rink around August, stuff like that. So like August, October, that's when you start seeing the guys around more often. But I mean, I go back to campus around just like June, July, just get stuff going.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, hey man, We've taken up just about an hour of your day. We really appreciate this. It was the from the collab posts and other discussions to bringing you on here today. It was a lot of great insight from our first Division One college hockey equipment manager. So thank you very much for doing this. And like I said, we really should plan to bring you back in mid-December just to see how that trip to Alaska Anchorage went because I'll speak for myself, Zach, but I'm really curious to hear about how the transporting of gear and just getting up there and making sure that everything makes it to goes. But thank you very much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.